Africa frustrates me, and Africans frustrate me even more, because us as a people, we don't want to accept the facts and the truth about our situation as Africans. Africans, we protect our right to be victims. We want to be victims, and we want to blame colonialism, slavery, and whatever influence that the West and whatever they do to Africa. We want to protect that right of us complaining about it. And so many people online have become experts in exposing and explaining how neocolonialism works, how the West keeps on influencing Africa. Look what they're doing there, or look what they're doing there. But the truth of the matter is that all that is okay. It is important. We need to have all those conversations to educate each other and enlighten each other to be able to see these things. But the truth of the matter is, our action is what is more important than discussing all those things. Think of the world as a jungle. The stronger species survives on eating the weaker species. There is nothing you can do about that. The fact that Africa has been colonized, the fact that Africa has been done all these things that we count and we talk about, neocolonialism, it's continuing this and that. It's actually a reflection that we are weak and we are actually stupid, because we are not doing anything to resist that or to counter whatever actions that they are doing in order to maintain the status quo. This is what you are not understanding. This is what I mean by that. So many other countries have been in the situation that Africa is today. China has been poor, for example, for a long time, what they call the century of humiliation. But they thought of an idea and hatched a plan to get out of that. They did not complain about it and over again and keep talking about it. You have to have an actionable plan to counter all that the West is doing and whatever they're doing. It doesn't help to sit down and sit on your hands and complain. They will keep on doing the same thing. If you look at global politics today, you will understand that this world is survival of the fittest. If you look at the tensions that is between Russia and the West, and China and the West, you would understand that complaining really is a waste of time. You have to be able to do something to resist and counter all the actions that they're doing to try and keep you poor. That's what you need to understand. The race to become better in the world or to dominate the world does not come in good faith. It's not a moral argument or a moral conversation. These people, that they don't care about your moral this and that. They will always do whatever is in their best interest. The best thing that you can do is come up with a plan and become stronger. The more you remain weaker every day, you will be exploited forever and ever. The problem with my African brothers, they want to educate me about, you don't understand neocolonialism, you don't understand how global economies function, this and that. You must read their book. Even when Kwame Nkrumah was writing his book about neocolonialism, the aim obviously was to let you see as Africa what is being done to you to keep you poor, so that you can act in order to resist that. If you just read it and sit down and say, oh no, look at what they do, that's fucking useless. It's not gonna help you with anything, because at the end of the day, the cycle continues. The fact that all those things still happen to Africa, the fact that neocolonialism continues today, if you look at all the weapons that they're using to keep Africa poor, is actually because of us not doing anything to counter those things. If we don't act and counter all those things, manufacture our own thing, become sustainable on our own, it's easy for them to manipulate and threaten sanctions or sanction us or whatever. Is because you're not self-sustainable. You are not, your economy is very weak, that whatever little action that they do to you, it will crush you. So it keeps you in submission. If you look at the world today, you will understand. If you look at the global picture, you will understand the trade wars between China and America, them banning Huawei, them putting tariffs on Chinese companies, them stopping Nvidia from exporting chips to China. How does the Chinese respond? You counter and manufacture your own things. If they ban Huawei from using Android, the Chinese did not stand on a big stage and say that is wrong. No, they went on and invented their own softwares in order for Huawei to use. When they banned the exportation of NVIDIA chips to China, China went on and started working on their own chips. That's how it works. You must act to counter that. You cannot just sit down and cry and mourn about it. That is the problem with us Africans. We are not doing enough or anything in order to be able to stand up and resist all these things. So these things will happen to us forever and ever, for a very long time, because our minds are so fixated and we have a poor and weak mindset. These people are willing. This is what I have come to realize. They are willing to do anything in order to control the whole world. They will do whatever it takes. If it means literally killing people, they don't care. They will eliminate millions and millions of people in order to get whatever they want. It is unfortunate that we can say these things about what is happening to the Palestinians. It is a fact that if you are weak and you cannot defend yourself, nobody else will do so, and they will eliminate you, and they don't care. That is the thing. These moral conversations that we can keep on having and say, oh, but that is wrong, that is wrong. You can say whatever you want. How long have been people calling and crying out about the Palestinian issue? But because they are unfortunately in a position of not being able to defend themselves, that's why it is happening to them, because they cannot stand for themselves and no one else can. The only way out is to make sure you are strong yourself, to be able to stand against these bullies and say, no, you're not doing that to me. If you cannot do that, it's pointless to talk about it. You can ramble on for decades, my friend, and talk about how terrible it was or how terrible it is that it's going on. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. They're not listening. You need to think about creating solutions in order to defeat neocolonialism, in order to defeat Western imperialism. We need to create actionable plan. If you see that the leadership that is leading you is the problem, they're in the way, they're standing in the way because you don't lead government. Some people who are in government, who are leading and creating these policies, they're not able and capable of transforming the continent or the country. It's upon us to make sure that we deal with that problem first. We complain a lot, our leaders, it's our politicians, the West is that and that and that. Who cares? Nobody's listening. And I want to tell you one thing. A leadership of a country is a reflection of its own people. It's the reason why we have those leaders in place in a lot of countries in Africa who are crazy. Think about it. How is it possible that we allow us as Africans, if we have a thinking capacity and the capability of thinking for ourselves, we are independent thinkers, how do we allow a 92-year-old to be a president? How is that possible? Do you know what I'm saying? If I can ask you, Tobias is a president and he wants to run for office again at 92. It's a reflection on the people on the continent, because they are not able to stand up. The military that gives him power to become a dictator, that man cannot do anything to me. He cannot even raise his finger towards me. But there are people who are supporting him and giving him that power, which is the military. Those people are idiots. That is the problem. That's why I'm saying it is a reflection of who we are as a people. It's because there's not enough of us who are independent thinkers, who are able to transform the continent of Africa. That's why I'm saying you can say whatever you want. Everything that is happening to the continent of Africa, whatever you want to term it, is because of us. We can have a moral conversation where we talk about how wrong it is. Think about this. If you have a family and I come to your house and I want to rape your children and rape your wife, what are you going to do? I am definitely wrong to try and do that. We can have that moral conversation, but you're not going to let me do that. You're going to pick up a big axe and try to cut my throat. That's how it works. So the fact that we have the situation that we have is because we are not doing anything. It is a reflection upon us that we are not working hard and we are not fighting. We are not able to fight what is going on, what is being done to us. It should be scary for a country to have a weak army which cannot resist the Western powers today. It should be scary, because look at how they will do to you if you are weak and you're not capable of defending yourself. You know, let's take Iran for instance. That war which was fought for 12 days. The reason why it lasted 12 days because they were fighting back. Even if America was involved and was backing Israel, but they realized, holy shit, These people are actually fighting back, and it's gonna get dangerous. We are running out of defense missiles here. We need to stop this. It lasted 12 days because they were able and they were capable to fight back. If you're not able and capable to fight back, I'm sorry, you might be wiped out of the earth. That is how dangerous the world is. But we as Africans were sleeping.